Carl and I started out in the commercial sector of the industry here, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years ago. So we wanted to set ourselves apart from other seed stock operations. So that's why we decided to dive into the Hereford side of things. We just had a great opportunity to just kind of dive in and take this thing by the horns, if you will, and have fun doing it. Beef quality assurance is important to us because I think we as seed stock producers, cattle producers, we need to ensure that these cattle are, handled properly. And I think BQA for us is just another tool in the toolbox. Between everything that we do, we want to set these cattle up for success. Whether they're the bulls going, to their new homes in the spring, the feeder cattle going to Kansas, replacement females staying in the herd. The BQA just helps us set those cattle up for success, for the females to stay in the herd as well. And we really just found that it's a great tool for us, combined with everything else that we do here. The key practices that we do is trying to be with the cattle as much as we can. Here again, setting them up for success. Quiet maneuvers whenever we're working cattle. No hooping and hollering. We know the cattle like to move away from us. So, we've just made those things as part of how we work the cattle. Read the cattle. Let them tell you kind of what they're doing. And I think that's all part of the BQA, is just looking at the cattle, listening to them, letting them kind of, tell you what they need, and making, like I said, it a positive experience for them, because that's going to go on to benefit not only the bulls when they go to their new home, the cattle that go to Kansas to the feed yard. They're going to work better, they're going to gain better, they're going to be better cattle.
BQA is just a modern word for a good stockman. As time has progressed, the stockmanship part of being a stockman has gotten more and more scientific. So with the BQA, we combine the old traditional stockmanship things with the new modern science-based stockmanship or BQA things, and then we combine the two together, and then we get to be the greatest stockman ever. Stockmanship or BQA really started out 30 years ago as just injection site placement. Now it's evolved into stockmanship, transportation, cleanliness. It's just the whole impact of being a good beef producer, and that's what BQA is nowadays. It started out very simple, now it's become very complicated but very good.
Certified Angus beef, we feel so proud to come alongside of the Beef Quality Assurance Program and really promote to producers why it's so important for them to go through continuous education. From the producer side of things, I think it's really important and matters to us from the standpoint of keeping them up to date on the most current and backed by science production practices. But I think what's even more fascinating is the fact that we're seeing it actually matter to the consumer. And Beef Quality Assurance is really stepping up in a way that's growing consumer confidence and consumer trust in what we do as beef producers on the farm and the ranch.
I'm so glad the consumer does care and wants a good quality product. And what that's going to do is producers that are good and want to be good and become at a higher level, they're going to be rewarded for it. The ones that can't conform and don't fit with modern beef production, they're going to go away.
Our consumers just want to know that beef producers are prioritizing animal welfare. They're putting those cattle first, which on the producer side of things, we know we are doing the right things day in and day out. We are putting our cattle at the top of our priority and making sure we're raising them in a way that is humane and is sustainable. And Beef Quality Assurance really is that check the box midpoint where it's doing the things that we want it to do on the production side and creating those continuous education opportunities. But at the same time, it's growing that consumer demand and that consumer trust and giving those consumers that extra assurance that that product is raised the right way.
I think with the BQA, it's another piece of that story that we get to tell about, the way that they manage the livestock, the way that they raise them, feed them, care for them, and whether it's through vaccinations, any of that type of thing, making sure that they're doing it properly so that at the end of the day, that end consumer in the restaurant is getting high quality, fantastic beef.
I think for us that are born and raised here in Montana, we have that deep understanding of the care that it takes to produce such a quality product. And we know that our ranchers day in and day out are doing everything they can that's in the best interest of their cattle. So we know that, but to be able to go out and tell that story to the end user is something that the BQA certainly helps us with. It lets our consumers know that we're really putting the best husbandry practices possible out there, and that we really have the best interests of animal health in mind, and that's super critical, you know, to what we see that our end users ultimately want. So super happy to be a part of the program.
We even had one tell us, he goes, you know, I take better care of these animals than I do my kids. The kids cost me money, the animals make me money, so I'm gonna make sure they're healthy, happy, and ready to go.
I mean, life's pretty good here. I mean, I always say, it's like, oh, when I die, I want to come back and be one of my cows, because we do. We love the cattle. We want to see them succeed. We want to see the females stay in the herd. We want the bulls to go on and do great things for their new owners. And so I think when it's just a matter of just letting the consumer know that these cattle are taken care of, you need to be progressive. You need to understand that there's new things out there. There's different ways to do things, and it's okay to branch out and to try something. Don't be afraid to do a BQA workshop and take some of those practices home. I'll guarantee you it'll pay dividends to do that. I mean, we've seen it here. I mean, it's just don't be afraid of it, because like I said, knowledge is power.